All right, now we have fast treats, and for this fast treats, you're going to match the dog's energy. Like I said, I recently learned about fast treats because I was looking see if there's anything new developed with the field of self-control teaching for dogs. And had I tried this first, I would have used it a lot more, and I'm definitely using it more now that I know about it. I was very impressed that after just a few repetitions, it was working really well for my dog not to grab my hand. Voodoo can be very grabby with food when he's excited. And so I wasn't sure how well this was going to show on the video, so I did get a little bit exaggerated at first. But what you want to do is, rather than stopping your hand at the dog's nose, you want to think about delivering it to where the dog's eyes are. And so you're going to push into them just a little bit when you deliver the food. And you're going to be a little bit rude. And what you want is for them to, rather than thinking of meeting the hand, you're going to want them thinking, backing off a little bit. And it only took a couple times, and he was waiting for the food to get to him. So I was very impressed. So let me show you the video.
Chris,
Yes.
so with that one, I've attempted that with one of my cattle dogs, but her love language is biting. So she actually really enjoys having the treat shoved in her face. She gets really her
Amped
energy
up.
level goes higher.
Oh, okay. So that may not work for you.
Okay, so just
There are
kind of
certain
bypass
games.
that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's games work. Some games work better than others for certain dogs. Some dogs would be highly offended by this.
Yeah, no,
And-
she's like, oh,
Yeah. And then there's ones that are like, yeah. So yeah, you just have to tailor which ones work best for
Okay.
your dog. So they aren't all for all dogs, but for the most part, most dogs can do most of the games. So you definitely want this on a flat hand and deliver under the dog's chin. So he wasn't terribly excited, so I got him a little bit excited with the food. He's like, yeah! So he was coming toward me, and I just kept going toward him. Yeah, exactly. He's like, what are you doing? So he's already popping back into a stand to back up a little bit in anticipation of my rudeness. Yeah. And again, I wasn't sure how this was showing on video, so I did get a little bit rude. But even with him recalling to me, I was able to have him not be so grabby with the food. And I really wish I had done this video before I did the Leave It video that you'll see in a minute, because he got my hand several times on the Leave It video before I switched to the flat hand. The Leave It was the one I started with recording, and I was not so good with the treats. All right, any questions on that one? All right, so next we have waiting for the food bowl. Anybody who's had a dog who dives their head into the bowl as you're trying to put it down, or you end up pouring the food on the dog's head because it gets in the way, knows that it would be much nicer to have the dog wait until the bowl is on the floor and then be released to get to the food, rather than having it scatter everywhere. So this can be practiced as many times as you feed the dog during the day, or you can also set up extra training sessions just for this. You can, if you feed raw, you can puree some and feed it on a spoon, or you can just put a few treats in the bowl that you can use for the rewards during the training part, and then let them have their raw meal. The video is pretty self-explanatory. The thing to remember is that between each rep, you're going to lift the bowl all the way back up again. And if the dog goes for the bowl, then you're going to start over and then drop it more incrementally each time. So if the dog can sit, it just gives you a little extra time to realize that they've gotten up and react. The other thing, distance is your friend. If the dog is diving in their head into the bowl, as soon as you lower it a little bit, back up a little bit or create a barrier so that they can learn. So you can barely hear it, but I am saying yes when I get it to the lowest point that I'm doing at that rep. I did find out, I couldn't do this at the very beginning with it right in front of his nose. So you may need a little bit of distance between the dog and the bowl.
No.
He's like, what do I have to do to get the food?
I'll do a trick.
Yeah. It's like, Mom's being weird again. And I did learn, I think you'll see in the video, that when I put it down and said yes, it ends the behavior. So he's like, I can get it now. So I learned when I put it all the way down, I have to be picking it up when I say yes.
Did you say okay?
I said get it. Yeah, I told him to
Okay.
get it.
Yeah, mine, they have to do that until I say
Yeah.
release. And then they know
Mhm.
they're released to do. So,
Yeah, I like this one because it's so incremental, you know, because when you get the really food motivated dogs that just, you know, they're drooling as you're playing this, but it helps them learn that the food bowl coming down doesn't mean dive your head in it. And so I like the incremental nature of this particular game for dogs that are highly motivated by their food bowl. That was that one. Any questions on that one? Simple game, but very effective. So the next one is going to be Get It. And I learned this one from Julie Daniels in her cookie jar classes on the Fenzi Academy. And it was several years ago, and I don't know if she's going to offer them again, but if you ever see Julie Daniels cookie jar classes, grab them. They are phenomenal. They are just jam-packed with so many different exercises and behaviors that work on self-control. But we're working a lot on don't get it, but we really need to also teach the dog when they can get it. And pretty much all of these self-control behaviors have a get it component, whether it be us just delivering it to the dog, or if we want to teach the dog specific reward cues. So some people teach the dog, get it means I'm going to throw the food, take it means take it from my hand, dish means I'm going to put it in a bowl, or it's waiting in a bowl for you. So you can give different marker cues that mean where the reward is. I haven't gotten into that as much. I do a couple of them, but there's some people that do multiple different marker words. So instead of yes, it would be get it, or bowl, or fetch, or whatever your cue is. That means that's where the reward's going to be delivered. So for this game, the goal is to get the dog backing up before you say get it. And I found with Voodoo, getting him more excited actually got him backing up off of my hands. So you restrain the dog with the target object out in front. It can be a food bowl, it can be toys, it can be whatever it is they're wanting. And you restrain them until they release pressure on your hand by backing up a little bit. And that's when you mark it and let them go forward to get whatever it is they want. So the goal is back up, basically. You can cue it the first couple times to teach the dog what you want. I tried without doing that, assuming maybe the dog doesn't know the backup cue. Mine does. But for people who have a dog who doesn't know how to back up, you can do this without the cue. Just play around with what might help the dog learn to move off your hands a little bit. You might need to provide a little bit of pressure, maybe some pulse against their shoulders, but the goal is to get the dog to do the backup before you say get it. My cue of get it is totally drowned out by the scrambling of the feet on the floor. So just know that when he lunges forward, I've said get it. He likes his toys. Little overexcitement barking. And so I'm like, yeah, I'm acting like I'm gonna let him go to get him to back up a little bit. So you can see I'm no longer physically restraining him. He's waiting till I say get it, but I'm still waiting for him to back up first. And so backing up is what's going to get me to say get it.
Are you telling him to back up?
I'm not telling him to back up. I'm waiting for him to offer it. And that's why I said you may have to, like when you're first restraining, you might have to do some pulses on their shoulder to encourage them to back up. You can cue it if they know back up, just to get them to the idea of what it is you want. And so that's just showing you can do it with food as well as toys. So with the food, you just make sure they can see the food. Usually put it on a bowl or a plate or something. All right, any questions on that one? So the next one is off switch. And for the off switch, it's basically if you think about the dog, you get them excited and then they have to do something that calms them down a little bit. So you're working that switch in their brain, the RAS switch, where they can go from I'm super excited to now I can respond to a verbal cue. So any verbal cue that they'll respond to shows you that they are in thinking mode because they can process the cue. And so the goal is to get them to switch back and forth as quickly as you can. So I start this video showing how to get the dog to release the toy, because if you want to play with toys, you have to have the dog be able to release it on cue or when you freeze so that you can do the off part of the behavior. So I did this with my Malinois, who was the worst dog I've ever worked with on out, because he was perfectly happy to just stand there and squish the toy, and he didn't matter how much I was playing with another toy. He was like, I've got one, I could grab two. So what I had to do was work with hard rubber balls, like almost a solid rubber ball that he couldn't squish. And it was just a really hard rubber ball. I don't even remember where I found it. And then when he released the one, he got the other one got thrown, and so he was able to chase it as the reward. But that was what I had to do with him. And once he got the concept that he was all about throw it, don't take it. I want you to throw it for me, but you can't have it.